And the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change the DIN rail out on the trainer. So this is the DIN rail that we have on here right now, right? And you can see what it's got. It's got 4 Allen head screws on it. So we need to go and get the toolbox and find the Allen head wrenches that will give us the ability to take this off. Now you need to keep up with the screws, not all of them. We're only going to need 2 on our new DIN rail. So y'all might have to share the Allen heads. I don't think we got enough to do it. I don't know if they're metric or they're if they're metric, we have 2 sets of metrics. We have one that's in a gray, and then we have one that's, I think, in a blue. I don't know. It's a small set.
You said it's got the other thing on it.
Yeah. What's that?
It's got the analog.
Yeah, we're going to do that, but let's do that. We're going to do this first.
Well, I'll show you that one, Mr. Raymond.
Huh?
I don't know. That one's big.
Don't know. Yep.
I don't know where they have.
What? Thanks.
Now, when we mount, when I get a wrench, I'll show you how we're going to do this. So one of our students, I don't know if y'all knew Thomas Hickenbottom.
Yeah.
He donated our rails for him, but when he cut them off, he didn't cut them off exactly right, but they'll work fine.
Donated what?
The DIN rails. So the company he works for Revere Controls, and they use tons of these.
He graduated?
Yeah.
Yes, he did graduate this country.
He was in digital.
Yeah. He donated the 3D printer over there, but we hadn't got it going yet.
It has somebody, pay for school, you don't have to.
Yeah, and that's we originally put the class on this summer because he wanted to take it, and then his company said he couldn't take it. They couldn't afford him to be off, so that's why he's not here. So he was going to take the class, even though he'd already graduated. We got it yet? Okay, I need one of the Allen wrenches real quick.
Being no good. One screw to script.
That's okay, as long as all 4 of them are not stripped. All we need is 2 to mount this on. I'm waiting on the Allen. Waiting on the Allen wrench. I'm borrowing one. I'm going to show y'all what we're going to do. But we're going to have to do certain things, and we'll see when we get our PLC put together. Yeah, you're going to need to. No, I think we're going to mount ours flush.
No, the one he brought up here too. They go well.
So what we're doing is taking off this DIN rail, and one of them's called C, one of them's called top hat. I'd have to go back and look and see exactly what it is. But if you look at the 314s that's over there on the outro line, this is the DIN rail that it uses. So when Festo sells the the Festo line with the Siemens PLCs. That's what it puts on there at 314. We decided we could run this off 1200s. And why we decided we could run this off 12, why we did that is we can get the 1200s for like $250 a piece, and it comes with everything. It comes with the analog cards, it comes with the analog output cards, it comes with the simulator switches, and it comes with the TIA software. So we figured out that we could run, we figured out instead of going the way that Festo did, we decided we could do it another way. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up to the very top rail. Don't understand that. And then we're going to mount it flush. We're not going to put the offsets in there because we don't need them. And plus, we're only going to put 2 screws in there. And if we mounted it off on those offsets, the center would be really flexible, right? You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to put one all the way up against it, which would be the one on your left. And then we'll screw this down, and then this one, and this is what I said when he cut it. He didn't cut it so the other slot would line up, so I had to come in and cut grooves in there, but it'll work just fine. Yeah, so I cut grooves, and we'll just tighten it down. It's going to work fine. It gives us plenty of support. So as soon as I can get this, and somebody can have my Allen wrench, or you can't have it, Anthony. You can use it. No, I cannot technically give you anything that belongs to the college. Okay, so anybody need the Allen wrench? This is the right size. Okay, y'all can come up here and get it if you need it. So your DIN rail should be mounted like this. So this guy right here is just kind of clipping one, but it's plenty. And we have it screwed down over here, and we should be ready to roll. Tighten it down nice and snug, but don't strip out my Allen wrench. Right?
These your personal tools, Rick?
What's that?
These your personal tools? These your personal tools?
Those are mine. I bought those because we didn't have enough, but those I think I got them at Harbor Freight. Now the problem we're going to have, is this guy here mounts real easy on the DIN rail. It's hard to get off, which should make sense, but it's easy to put on. And we'll probably take these the little latch doors off when we wire it up. Everybody okay? Now the problem is that when we look at our PLC and we look at our power connections, so when we look at our power selection, so every place you see an arrow pointing in and it's got L1 and M, that means we got to hook up power there, right? Understand? So we know we're going to have to hook up power to the PLC. Everybody okay? And then instead of using the output of the PLC to run our input devices, we're going to actually use the big power supply that's in here because we're powering up a lot of inputs, and they're all active inputs, right? They're all solid state inputs, which means every sensor we got over there, just about every one of them runs off power. So this little old power supply that comes out of the PLC is not going to be strong enough to handle that. It would be able to handle just regular inputs like switches and push buttons because those don't require current to operate, right? You understand? And if we look at our I/O module, we're also going to see power connections on our I/O module. So we got power connections. Everybody okay? No, we're not putting any washers on there. They're actually standoffs. We're not putting them. We're mounting ours flush against the back because we're only using 2 screws, right? You understand? And if we mount that thing off, what's going to happen is it's going to flex in the center. Right now, it can't move. When we push in and stuff like that, it's not going to give. So what would happen is you'd have a hard time making the PLC mount because you have to push it in to mount, and it moves and it warps the rail, and the PLC wouldn't latch in. So we're not putting those little old standoffs in there. Everybody okay? Well, when we look at all the power that we require power. We require an M. We require a 1 M or an M. Now 1 M means it's from another source, right? You understand? Okay. So we got to hook up a M right here. We got to hook up a minus right here. And then I got to hook up a minus right here if we're going to use the analog inputs, right? Y'all follow me? We're just going across the top. Are we okay? Okay. Then what else do we need? Now when I go to my outputs, which is on the bottom, we need an L and an M, right? Y'all see that? Okay. Everybody okay so far? Okay. Now, when we look at our I/O module, we see, and we open up the doors on this, and they open up the same way. I see an L plus and an LM right here. Well, this is powering up the module. When you look at the outputs, you don't see anything because we're going to pick up both the L and the M up on this side right here for the module. Everybody okay? So when you look at the outputs, which are on the bottom, you don't see an L or an M out there. Everybody okay? So this is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So up here we got 2 M's. We got M for this set, and we got M for the other set. Everybody okay? You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, we got a 1 M. Or is it a 1 M? Well, we got a 1 M and 2 M. So we got to bring power to power the module, and then we have to give a reference to our input. We got one power source. We got one power source. Here's the power source right here. Okay. So what we're saying is we're going to have to do a lot of what? Jumping. You have to put a common on both sets because they're running syncing inputs, right? You understand? So what they're saying is we don't necessarily have to use the same power supply to power both these input sets. It depends on the common that we run up there. Of course, all we're going to do is use the same common, right? Everybody understand that? Everybody okay? Now we don't have to put a positive on our outputs because it's going to pick it up off the L1 on the top. Everybody okay? Now when we come up here and look at the power output, we got this little thing right here. And what's the problem with that? Not near long enough, because when we mount our PLC, the power is on the top. If we mount it down close enough to get it, then we won't be able to wire the PLC. So that's why we're going to come up here and we're going to wire it up here. Which means what? Now a lot of these things, guys, the power is actually going to come up through these cables. So a lot of the power that we're going to get, we're going to be able to get through the cables that's available to us. So if you see this red wire, you should see one of the wires in here inside the cable. By the way, this is called a ribbon cable. We'll see that in a minute. You see one of them's red, well, guess what that is? That's power. And where's it coming from? It's coming from here, right? You understand? Okay. So what we got to do is figure out how to get it up. What we got to do is figure out how to get it up here. Oops. Okay, so yeah, how to get it up here. So what do we need to do? Yeah. No, we can't get these up there. We got two options. We could come up here and we could cut these off and we could solder them, but we're not. We can use these other places. So what we're going to do is we're going to run two more. We're going to go in and run two more wires up through the power supply. Two new ones.
Long.
Yeah, two long ones. We're going to make some wires. Okay. Are we okay?
Right.
Now, I don't have red, but I've got orange and blue, which should be okay. So what we're going to do, first of all, guys, if we're going to pull anything out, we're going to have to clip off these wire ties. Now, when you clip these things, be real careful because those wires are very small and you can very easily do what? Cut it. Not cut myself. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about you cutting one of these wires. If you put your finger in there and do that, then you deserve to get cut, right? So what we got to do is be real careful when we cut these things and make sure that there's none of these gray wires inside there. Okay, so y'all can come over and get y'all a pair of diagonal cutters and let's be real careful and cut these off. And then we can come in and re-separate them into their grooves. So y'all see what I did. Be real careful when you clip those wire ties that there's no wires under there, right? Now while we clip that is what we're going to do. So some of these wires are for these panels up here. Some of the wires are for these panels over here. Now, that's why we wear safety glasses. These are the ones that's actually going to run the line, right? You understand that? Okay, so we know we're going to have to wire these up. These are the ones that control the inputs and the outputs. We're going to have to wire at least one of these up because we're going to simulate a new stop button over here. Okay. These and these two sets that's on that would be on your left, one of them's for inputs and one of them's for outputs. This is the power supply. This is where we hook up to the power supply. The power supply actually runs down the back of the unit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the unit over here where we connect to the power supply. So y'all should still have one of these screwdrivers, right?
First panel?
Yeah, the one that's got the fuse, the one that's got Festo on it. So this is the one that's got the power switch on it. Y'all don't have it plugged up, right? So this is the panel we're going to take out. If it comes out, you might have to loosen off the panel next to it. I think I'll, you can't get it out, don't force it out. And this is the guy we're going to pull out right here. And now it don't have much space to it. And what we can do is we can see where the power supply actually wires up to the different plugs on front. See that? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to put another conductor on this terminal and in this terminal right here. Are we okay? We're okay so far. So we'll have to figure out how much we need, but we're going to have enough to go all the way up to the top. So what we're going to have to do, of course, is the conductors that we're going to use is we're going to use orange for the red, and then we'll use blue for the blue. Everybody okay? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make sure we're going to have enough length, and then when I cut it off, we might have to cut it off a little more. We don't want them to be too long. So we're going to come up here. We're going to use crimp terminals. You ever used crimp terminal before? Now we have several types. We have, I forgot what they call it. We're not going to use these guys because over time they'll do what? They'll slide out. So we're going to use the ring terminals. And if I don't have the right size, I can go back and get some. Okay, that's what you do. That's too small. I think the blues or the reds is actually the ones we should be using, but I think these are the right size. Okay. So when you crimp these, of course, what you do is you strip them, and we strip them with wire strippers. I need to go get some more sets. We got all kinds of things. So this is a real neat tool to have. It serves three functions. It's got a wire stripper on the back. It's got a screw cutter right here that you can actually cut screws with it to a certain length. And then it's got the crimp right here to crimp these ring terminals on there. Now what you want to do when you strip them off, so I've got this one stripped too long. When you insert it, what do I do with my ring? Let me pause this, guys, and let me see if the ring terminals we have over there, if they're better suited, because this is actually the wrong color. All these years I've been doing it wrong. Yeah, that people that's been welding before, and they think they know how to work. I'm sure. I'm sure if I went over there and did some welding, I'd probably get a lot of people to talk about me too. Cool. I'm a garage shop owner. So when you look down inside this thing, it's got an insulator on the back. And then when you look, you're going to see a little ring in here. And then it's got a little gap right there.
You look at what?
If you look into the back of the crimp, and of course y'all can't see it. So what I'm doing is I'm looking into the back of the crimp. So this is an insulator. And what we're going to do is we're going to crimp this inside a tube in here. And if you look down through there, you can see that it's got a
Insulator in there?
I didn't get, you didn't get one of these? Which one?
Not yet.
Okay.
This is off the
But
road.
that's it?
Yeah. Now, what we want to do,
Get the metal,
first,
not the plastic.
huh?
Get the metal, not the plastic. Get the metal, not the plastic.
Well, yes and no. What we want to do is we want to insert the jacket just barely into the metal. Because when you crimp, you don't want your conductor to be providing the physical support. You want the jacket or the insulator to provide the physical support. So what we're going to do, and when we stick this in here, what we're doing is we want the jacket just to barely go into it. And then we don't want the wire to extend where it goes out and goes into the ring. Because what happens is a screw down on your wire and it won't be up against the ring, right? Understand? So when we strip this or cut it, we should cut it to a length. So when we crimp it, it's not good. So what's that about yeah. No. What we're going to do is we want it to come in. We want the insulator to be just slightly, we want the insulator to be slightly inside the crimp ring. Okay. Everybody understand that? Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and that little groove right through there, this little groove is on the top. Well, we don't want to crimp into that. We don't want to crimp into that groove because what will happen is it'll split. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that little tooth sticking up there, and we're gonna put it on the bottom. Hard to show y'all this and then do it. I think it needs to be. And then what we're gonna do, so you can really see it right there. See that? So if I was to come up here and crimp it this way, then what would happen, that thing right there is split it apart, right? You understand? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little crimp blade and put it on the bottom. Okay, everybody understand?
Yeah.
And then what's gonna happen is now we're gonna crimp it, and now that circle up there is gonna push it together. Okay, see that? I should have been over. I couldn't see that. Yeah, I should have been back. And then what we'll do is we'll take it again and we'll crimp it back on the end. So what we're doing here is we're crimping it on the insulator. So that way what we're doing is now we have a really good secure. And the wire is not supporting the crimp, the jacket's supporting the crimp, right? That makes sense? I crimped mine too far out because I was trying to show you that. And I couldn't see. And now we have a pretty good connection. But look what happens is now that little sleeve is actually pushes together and don't do what? Yeah, so what he did is he was always crimping his like this. So he'd crimp it like that. And then what was happening was that when it hit that groove, it did what? It would spread it out. Yeah, well, stuff like that, it would probably work, but somebody would come on and jerk it real hard. What would probably happen? It would pull out. And then over time, since he had a big air gap in there, it could. Then what we're going to do is, I think we got some more tools over there behind the box. Is we're going to come up here and break one of these loose. We're going to, I don't know if y'all can see the way it's bent. We'll bend ours in the opposite direction because these go in here. We'll bend it up so it don't get caught on the side, and then we'll run it back up through here. We can make it long enough now to just make sure we have enough slack where we can cut. We can always shorten it, but we can't do we can't make it longer. So what I'll do is I'll just cut enough, about the same length of these, and then y'all can give me the blue too.
Turn the blue out.
Now y'all learn how to do every bit of this in a class called cable splicing and installation, which is a pretty good class. So the first 4 weeks of the term, we teach you how to do copper wires and stuff like that, how to splice them, how to terminate them, and then also what's the function? Every conductor has to come to an end. So the purpose of the conductor is to get the current from the power source to the load. So every conductor comes to an end. How you bring that conductor to an end, we call that termination. But we can't make conductors that are infinite in length. So if we can't make conductors that are infinite in length, sooner or later we're going to have to put 2 conductors together. The act of connecting conductors together, we call that splicing. So the name of the class is installation and splicing. But not only do we teach you how to do copper, we also do fiber too. Even piping. So we do terminating and splicing on just about any type of conductor that moves stuff, right? So now you know what termination is. So this is the last one, I think. And these right here should be plenty. So I'm still got an orange one. Everybody got one? Okay. Every group got one? Yeah, the blue one. That's all we got. Gonna need 2. No, I need to go get them. Those are all the one I have. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot of standards.
I had to look for the scripture, but I can't find another set of print. One that's got the print.
Mr. Rich, can we go to, you
It's 12:45. And then what was 3 o'clock?
Have a break today?
Some of y'all took breaks. I mean,
Whenever.
yeah, some of y'all took break. I mean, when I came back in here after we ran the line, there was, I think Austin was in here. There was a couple people, but
So you got additional white strip on there?
yeah, we got three. That's all we need is 3, right, for 3 sets. And then what we'll do is, once y'all get through with this, we won't mount them on there today. What we'll do is we'll, yeah, I'm sorry. Once you strip them, you need to twist them, right, clockwise, because it's,
Right up in the,
yeah, bring it out a little bit more.
you're gonna be able to try to take a test on those computers.
That's
I have
fine.
a couple that are here early.
Well, they may or may not work.
That's what I just told them. So,
Because we lost our domain server. I had to rebuild it.
okay, so we'll,
I'm in the process of, you can see, if they
We'll
can get
see.
on Blackboard, they'll be fine.
Okay.
If they can't get on Blackboard.
okay. No problem.
Trying to get on with that, do you? You know, get on with it.
Oh, he wants it. Hey, Michelle, this is the
Yeah, got on with the main.
So when you put your computers up, make sure you put the numbers up right, you understand that? Make sure you plug it into the right, the power supply that belongs to that slot.
You still get iron on, we should go to the line.
Okay, fine.
Shit, man, I ain't thought of it.
I think y'all could go and, I think it's, my salary is part of public record. There's some place y'all could go and see what I make. How much do I make an hour? I don't get paid per hour. I get paid per day. Like 180 instruction days.
Per day.
We get paid per instruction day in the semester. So we don't get paid for vacation. We get a salary every month. So we're salaried, basically. No, not in a career tech. I don't have a bachelor's degree. I got an associate's degree. It's like you're going for. That's all. Yeah, that's all I got.
As long as you got the certifications, you teach, right?
Right, certifications and stuff like that. In a career tech program, on an academic program, you have to have 1 degree above where you transfer into. That means if you transfer into a bachelor, if you're an English teacher, then you have to have at least a master's degree, because it can transfer into a bachelor's degree. So academics in career tech is a lot different. I don't want you to just snap it back up and put it back together. Let me find some. Yeah, we'll just tape them on there right now. Yeah, tape it somewhere. I'll just take the cables and everything on your board. Money will come in and try to figure out how to wire this thing.
Mr. Reed, is Friday still your
College tough.
It is.
I have a lot. I'm being paid for 32 hours, 30 hours a week. I'm in class 32 hours. So I have no office.
So when did the time come talk to you about my
During the summer there is no good. I have no time in the summer. Absolutely no time. So one of the things I'm doing is MSSC certification. We're working on that. That's what my other hours are.
Say who, Mr. Rich?
MSSC certification. We're so where's the mask and tape? Who's got the mask and tape?
Right here. Okay.
Who's coming early on class? So according to my schedule, the class starts at 8:30. What time am I supposed to be? 8:30.
Oh.
That's but I need to get it.
What do you want us to do with the other emeralds that
Just put it back on there before we put it one. I think it's on the box on the left. Huh? Yeah, I'll
good for today?
Clean up the mess. Just put them up here on the side. I'll take care of that. Box is right here somewhere. I said I was gonna get it today, but
Mr. Aaron?
You sign it? I send it to you.
you make sure you gotta put your student ID number up there, you know, your student ID number.
I already had the 35.
Okay, what I want you to do is take the test, see if you can improve your score. And then I'll need you to, can you email me the certificate? They should have emailed it to you back when you took it before. If you can forward that to me, I'd appreciate it. And I want everybody to take it for the couple of you that already have it.
So you think if I come in early on Monday, Mr. Rick, see if you're at 8, we can talk about,
Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here at 8:30, but I hear that.
okay. I would greatly
'Cause
appreciate
I
it.
have absolutely no office.
I got you. I remember for our love,
I have no office hours in the summer.
but I remember for our love Fridays we office hours.
I'm only supposed to be here for 30 hours, but, or document 30 hours, but I can't get it below 32.
They said there were no work study hours for us either.
Now, they don't do work study, so I just thought about that. 'Cause I can ask you.
But I'll be happy to help volunteer, or I've got time if you need it.
But we're not here on Friday. College is closed on Friday. The college is closed on Friday.
I have to Thursday, so
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm over in Abbeville.
yeah, you can just email me if you need stuff. And I'll come. So,
To your
okay.
student email and then password one with a capital P. You don't have to improve your score, but I want everybody to at least try.
I don't think that. Oh, we need the scores.
Huh?
Nancy showed, you know, we can get to that now. We don't need the certificates anymore. We can see them.
Yes, yes. But that's just kind of a habit that I,
Yeah, I don't want.
I can't remember how to, show me how to.
you log in to your,
I know how to do that.
and then you choose one, a group, and go
I
down
knew
the
I
line.
did that. But the one I saw only showed if they passed or failed, which is basically, I don't know how we can do that.
I think we're gonna get it, I think we're just give it someone.
That's correct. And like I said, I'm not making them improve their score, but I want everybody you still get credit for it. Just want the best for you, man. Work with me. And then I emailed you and Nancy. I don't know if we.
I ain't looked at my email for that.
I know. No, I was just talking about a minute ago.
Okay.
I don't know if we need to meet. I'm gonna have to work tomorrow to get all my hours in for the week.
When I can